It might be one of the most over-engineered watches for around $1,000. In today's video, we will do a full review of this Nivada Grenchen Depthmaster. I'll point out all the positives and the negatives as I see them. My name is Oleg, and that right there is Mr. Bond. Now, let's talk about the case and the dimensions. This watch comes in a 39mm diameter. It's about 47mm from one lug to another. The lug width is 20mm and it's about 13mm in case height, including the domed sapphire crystal. The case is made out of 316L stainless steel and it features an alternation between satin and high polish finishes. The execution on the finishes is really good. It's exactly what you would expect in a watch for around $1,000. I also like the little vintage touches around the case, like for instance the drilled lug holes, as well as this exposed crown at the 3 o'clock position. There are no crown guards, it's just sort of freestanding. In terms of the design, it works really well. It's a screw-down crown signed with the Nivada Grenchen logo. On the other hand, in my opinion, the crown is slightly undersized, so sometimes it's a little tricky to get a hold of, especially if you have big sausage fingers like myself. On the other side of the case, at the 9 o'clock position, you find a helium escape valve, which is very impressive for a watch around this price category, and that's because this watch features 1,000 meters of water resistance. That's super impressive, especially for a watch that's only about 13mm in case height. Partially helping with the water resistance is the screw-down caseback. It's a solid stainless steel caseback, not much to it. It has an interesting shape, but that's pretty much it. It only has sort of information in the center and some information about the movement and Swiss made, that kind of thing. Now, in terms of the front of the case, that's where you find the domed sapphire crystal. This is quite a thick piece of sapphire because it has to withstand some pretty great pressures. Happy to say it gives you pretty nice distortion angles, and overall it's kind of incorporated into the case in a very nice manner. It does feel like a vintage inspired watch because of course this watch is based on a version from 1965. That original one was the first watch with 1,000 meters of water resistance. Fun fact, it was actually released 2 years before Rolex Sea Dweller, so there's a lot of history behind Nivada Grenchen and this model. They have gone out of business in 1970s due to quartz crisis. However, in 2018 they came back onto the market with a few different models, and I have done a review of a few of them. Overall, I'm pretty impressed with their watches. This one here is a pretty faithful recreation of the one from 1965, and that has a slight fault. That's this bezel. The bezel action is pretty good, 120 click unidirectional. Nice satisfying clicks, there's plenty of grip on this coin edge, and sort of the markings on the bezel are nice and sharp. It's executed with the brushed stainless steel look. So what is my problem with this bezel? Well, it's the fact that it doesn't really feature a lume pip. With a proper diver watch with 1,000 meters of water resistance, you would expect it to have that small lume pip on the bezel to make it sort of professional. Other than that, I think the bezel and the bezel action are really good. Now let's take a look at the dial, which is again very vintage inspired. It looks very similar to the one from 1960s. It's a matte black dial with printed indexes. You have an alternation between hashes and Arabic numerals. The numeral at the 6 o'clock position is probably the most interesting one. It's this open 6, which I think looks very much vintage inspired. Now the color they chose for this model specifically is this sort of cream color to give it that vintage patina look, which some people will like, some people not so much. Luckily, there are quite a few different versions of this watch available with a few different dials, including the Pac-Man dial that also has a pretty cool history behind it. There is a date window at the 3 o'clock position on this watch. On some watches, the date window looks good, on others, not so much. I think on this one, it looks pretty good. It doesn't really break up the symmetry all that much. There is a Nivada Grenchen logo by the 12 o'clock position and Depthmaster 100 meters written closer to the 6 o'clock position, as well as Swiss made all the way at the bottom. In terms of the set of hands, they are historically accurate. You have this sort of medallion hours hand, the sword minutes hand, and the red seconds hand, which matches the red on the dial and on the bezel. This model is available with a bunch of different bracelet and strap options. You could have it on a flat link bracelet, you could have it on the Beads of Rice bracelet, you could also have it on a few different straps. The one that I have in front of us is on this leather strap. The leather strap is nice and soft, it conforms to your wrist really well, and it features pretty simple hardware, just a tang buckle and these quick release pins. Now, having a leather strap on a watch with 1000 meters of water resistance doesn't really make too much sense. Of course, right now it's sort of dressed up as your everyday casual watch, but of course you could easily swap it out for something like a Tropic rubber strap, which would probably be more appropriate and it would make it more adventure ready. As far as the fit on the wrist, it's excellent. I have about a 7.5 inches wrist, and on my size of wrist, the watch looks great. It does wear smaller than the sizing would suggest. These cushion style cases have a bit of a disappearing act. I actually had my wife try on this watch on her wrist. She has pretty tiny wrists, and on her wrist, she could pull off wearing this watch no problem. So if you have a smaller wrist and you're looking for this sort of tough sports watch that can handle a lot of water resistance, well, now you have another option. Usually watches with a lot of water resistance, these sort of professional diver watches, are larger. Here you have a watch that's actually wearing smaller than a lot of other watches, which I think a lot of people with smaller wrists will look at positively. If you have a larger wrist, on the other hand, this watch might be too small for you. You might want to look at something on the larger side. As far as the movement powering this watch, Nivada Grenchen used to have Sellita SW200 in their watches. Now they switched to the Saprod P024, which, to be fair, is a very similar movement. Both the Sellita and the Saprod are based on the ETA 2824. They both feature very similar specs, 4 Hz beat rate or 28,800 vibrations per hour. They both feature about 38 hours of power reserve, and they're both Swiss made. As far as the accuracy of the movement on this watch, it's pretty good. It's within 3 seconds per day, which is exactly what you would want. In general, I like this watch a lot more than I thought I would. Just looking at the pictures and looking at the design, I didn't really think it would appeal to me too much. I usually don't go for these type of watches, the watches with the cushioned design. The Panerai watches I like, but I never really had a desire to buy one. But now, after experiencing the watch, after wearing it for a couple of weeks, I get it. I get why a lot of people like these watches. They tend to disappear on your wrist. They are super comfortable and they are quite capable. On top of that, the pricing versus history versus specs, I think, is all very fair. I appreciate you watching this video all the way until the end. Please leave a comment in the comment section below. Let me know what you thought about this watch. Also, if you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the YouTube channel for more videos like this in the future. I appreciate you watching this one, and we'll see you next time. Bye.